Hi guys, this is DJ Slope from Slope's Game Room, and today we're going to be looking at Disney's 12th animated classic, Cinderella. The film that has Walt Disney's favourite animation ever. First released on February 5th, 1950. And here to tell us the story and her own personal review is Amanda Jeannn.
Hey guys, I'm Amanda Jeannn, and I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite Disney princesses, Cinderella. Cinderella's father was a wealthy widow who wanted her to have a loving mother. So he married Lady Tremaine. Unfortunately, she turned out to be a mean and horrible woman with two daughters named Drizella and Anastasia, who were just as evil as she was. Cinderella's father unfortunately dies, and she is forced to live with her stepmother and stepsisters, and Cinderella is abused and mistreated by her stepfamily, who take her fortune, and she is forced to be a maid in her own home. Cinderella grows up to be a kind and loving young woman who befriends the animals in the house, including the birds and the mice. The two main mice are Jack and Gus, and the family dog is named Bruno. All the animals and Cinderella despise Lady Tremaine's cat named Lucifer because he is horribly mean and he tears everybody except for Cinderella's stepfamily. One morning, Cinderella starts her daily chores by making breakfast for her stepfamily. Gus got chased by Lucifer, and Gus found a hiding spot under a teacup, and unfortunately that teacup went to Anastasia's bedroom, which led to Anastasia being very angry, thinking that Cinderella put a mouse under her teacup as a joke. Lady Tremaine punishes Cinderella with extra chores. Meanwhile, at the royal palace, the king is discussing with the Grand Duke his desire to find his son a wife. He wants his son to finally get married and settle down and have children. This is when he comes up with the great idea to organize a ball and invite every eligible maiden in the land in hopes of finding a suitable wife for his son. An invitation to the ball arrives at the Cinderella household. Cinderella begs and pleads to be allowed to go to the ball, but Lady Tremaine says she can only go if she finishes her chores and if she finds a nice dress to wear. Cinderella's animal friends, led by Jack and Gus, help Cinderella by fixing up a gown that was once owned by her mother. They fix it up using some beads and a sash that were once owned by Anastasia and Drizella, but they decided they didn't want it anymore and threw it out. Cinderella finishes her chores and is surprised with a finished dress and is excited to attend the ball. Once in the presence of her stepfamily, Lady Tremaine looks over her dress and points out the beads and the sash that are a part of Cinderella's new dress. Of course, this angers her stepsisters because they think that Cinderella stole these items from her even though they threw them away, and they completely destroy Cinderella's dress by ripping it apart, and she is left with rags. Cinderella, devastated by what just happened, runs into the backyard where her fairy godmother appears and works her magic. She transforms a pumpkin into a carriage, the mice into horses, a horse into a coachman, her dog Bruno into a footman, and creates a beautiful gown and glass slippers for Cinderella. The fairy godmother warns Cinderella that she only has until the stroke of midnight before the spell is broken. At the ball, the prince looks very unamused and has been rejecting every girl that he has met, including Drizella and Anastasia. All until Cinderella enters the room and they fall right in love and dance the night away. Not paying attention to the time, Cinderella realizes that it's almost midnight. She flees to her carriage, leaving behind one of the glass slippers, and once her carriage leaves the gates of the castle, it is midnight and the spell is broken. Cinderella is only left with the remaining glass slipper to remind her of what a wonderful night that she had. The next morning, the king proclaims that the Grand Duke will visit every house in the kingdom to find the girl that fits the glass slipper. This news travels to Cinderella's household, and her stepfamily begins to prepare for the Grand Duke's arrival. Lady Tremaine overhears Cinderella humming the song from the ball the night before and realizes that she was the girl who was dancing with the prince. To make sure that the Grand Duke couldn't fit the slipper onto Cinderella's foot during his visit, she locks Cinderella in her room upstairs. When the Duke arrives, Jack and Gus attempt to steal the key to Cinderella's room, but have a bit of trouble. With the help of the other animals, they get the key and let Cinderella out of her room. As the Duke is about to leave after trying numerous times to fit the slipper onto Anastasia and Drizella's very big feet, Cinderella comes rushing down the stairs asking to try on the glass slipper. Lady Tremaine, knowing that the slipper is gonna fit Cinderella's foot, trips the footman and causes him to drop the slipper, and it just completely shatters. All seems lost until Cinderella pulls the other slipper out of her apron. The Duke slides the slipper onto her foot and it fits perfectly. The movie ends with the wedding of Cinderella and the prince, and they live happily ever after. My favorite elements of Cinderella are the songs, especially A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes, Bippity Boppity Boo, and So This Is Love. One very interesting story is the production for Sing Sweet Nightingale. Well, Disney came up with the idea that Eileen Woods, the voice of Cinderella, would sing harmony with herself. This was the first time that double-tracked voices for a song was used in this way. The only other times that it was being used was by artists in studio recordings, such as the Beatles. Eileen Woods ended up singing second and third part harmonies for the song. And that, my friends, is Cinderella. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you give it a watch soon because it is definitely a Disney classic and it is very fun and entertaining. If you want to watch me talk more Disney, then you can check out my YouTube channel, and you can also reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram. It's @AmandaJeannn with 2 extra N's, and that's it. Bye!
As Amanda said, be sure to click on the link to subscribe to her channel. But let's be honest, if you're into anything Disney, then you're probably already subscribed. Anyway, let's have a look at the games related to Cinderella. Firstly is a game called Cinderella Freefall. I'm not going to take very long on this one, we all know exactly what it is. A fairly decent puzzler that you'll never reach the end because you only have 5 lives before having to set your alarm to get more. Now technically I shouldn't actually be adding this to the list as it's actually based on the live action version of the movie. But just for laughs, let's look at the artwork, which is an animated rendition of the movie that is an animated rendition of the animated movie. Yeah. Moving quickly on. Cinderella Midnight Dash. Hang on, this is from the live action movie again, isn't it? Ah, god damn it. Well, funnily enough, before this version of the Flash game, we had another game with the same name, but this one was based on Disney's original animated classic movie version. However, even though the games have the same titles, they actually play completely differently. Let's compare. So here we have the original game, and for a Flash game it looks quite good. As the title suggests, it's Midnight Dash, so the bells have chimed and you are running away before it's too late. Eventually you make it after about 2 minutes of gameplay and the game is over. Looking at the live action version, or the newest version, you'll notice it's quite different and looks more like a weird fairy tale version of Spy Hunter or something. Not only does the game not look good, it plays quite badly too. So if you have 2 minutes to spare and you can find it, then play the original. Anyway, now with the free Flash games and mobile games out the way, we can look at the official, physically released games. And first up we have the PC games.
Hello, my dear. Oh, now then, wait a minute, where am I? Oh, yes, the castle. Oh, why isn't this a beautiful castle?
With the help of your fairy godmother, as well as another fairy who accidentally mixed up one of her spells and locked Cinderella away in a book, you need to find 5 gemstones hidden around the castle, which you need to decorate to free her from her spell. Sounds pretty stupid, right? The thing with this game is it's made for kids, and although you may be thinking, yeah, but it should be like this, let's just think about what this game could have actually become. A sort of Sim-style decorating game where you're designing the world's most popular fairy tale castle. It's a shame Disney didn't go all out with a game like this, and instead you get this incredibly over-the-top hand-holding game where you don't actually do anything for 10 minutes, while a squeaking fairy voice thing tells you how to use a mouse.
First, if you'd like to see the castle from a different spot, choose me with your pointer and we'll fly there together.
The game itself isn't that bad, I suppose. You could argue it's not made for me, so I'm not going to like it anyway. But look at other world building games and decorating games like Animal Crossing and you'll realise you don't have to handhold children as much as this game does, and instead you could actually use games like this to not only deliver enjoyment but to also educate young children. Rant over. So you've decorated a castle, well now you decorate, you guessed it, a dollhouse. I'm not going to stick with this one for long, as it's like the last game, albeit with an art style I highly prefer. The animation is a lot nicer too, and you can actually put the characters from the movie into the game. Disney Interactive made loads of games similar to this back in the mid-90s for the PC, and almost all of them are fairly forgettable. What us gamers really want is a Disney game based on the classic movie, with a bit of meat on it. Thankfully we got that game in 2005 for the fantastic Game Boy Advance, with Cinderella Magical Dreams. I always admired consoles like the GBA because it came out at a time when every game had to be 3D. However, the Game Boy Advance was my escape to the game styles of old, but obviously with new games. A really great console with some fantastic hidden gems on it. Now the question is, was Cinderella Magical Dreams one of those hidden gems? Nah, not really. However, it is quite good. In fact, I'd probably put my bottom dollar in saying the game is a lot better than you would expect. However, that is probably because we're used to stuff like this. So the game follows the storyline brilliantly, and you're playing a good platformer game, and this is what it's all about. You start the game in the barn feeding the animals before you progress, and watering flowers, dodging obstacles and scarecrows before eventually you move on to level 2. Actually, hold up. In between those levels we actually get to see short clips of the movie in beautiful 1080p high definition. Changing the gameplay up somewhat, we're now the mice in the floorboards throwing buttons at spiders in this far more platformy type level. Eventually you go up against Lucifer the cat, and just look at this, a fantastically well made boss level that really does look the part, although it is quite easy. Time for another cutscene. And you end up playing a sort of Pang type game, where you have to shoot magical spells up until you have enough MP to build your carriage. Turn the mice into horses, etc. It's actually quite funny what you can actually turn into a video game. Well, how about this? After another Blu-ray quality cutscene, you get the chance to dance with the prince. Just make sure to not hit other dancers and stay within the spotlight. See what I mean? You can turn anything into a video game. More gorgeous cutscenes follow, and then Cinderella is in now one of the world's worst endless running style levels, dodging random stuff in the streets while the good guys are chasing her. This level goes on for far too long, and in a word, it sucks. Then we get to see more HD DVD quality cutscenes from the movie, and this time another pretty good classic platforming stage where you need to get the key to Cinderella, which you can get out of the locked room. But as you know, thanks to the IMAX looking cutscenes, Lucifer comes in at the last minute and it's time for another boss battle. Here you have to kick the key and throw buttons, eventually you knock him back far enough for him to go away. And it's time to hook up your surround sound system, and here we are with our final 4K resolution ending to the movie. And that's it, the end. Like I said, the game isn't great, but it is a lot better than you'd expect. These games aren't exactly the best Disney licensed games out there, but looking at the source material, I think we could have done a lot worse. And in my opinion, this game is actually not too bad, and probably one of the best things we can get off the back of a movie like this. And hey, anything is better than watching those stupid sequels, am I right? Hey guys, thanks for watching my review on Cinderella. Like I said in the video, make sure you go over and subscribe to Amanda Jeannn with a double N at the end. She's actually doing something quite similar to what I'm doing at the moment with a 52 weeks of Disney, where she actually watches and reviews and tells you a little bit of history behind every one of Disney's classic movies. Also, all you Star Wars fans out there are going to really get a kick out of her channel. Anyway, click the links that you see above to watch the last video or the next one. Rate, comment, favourite and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you all next time.